Raider Nation, the wait is finally over. Raider Nation, let me just say it out loud. Fernando Mendoza is wearing silver and black, and honestly, I could repeat that 100 times and it still wouldn't lose its punch. After everything this fan base has had to swallow over the past several years, the losing streaks, the false dawns, the parade of quarterbacks who came and went like they were just passing through, seeing number 15 out on that practice field during rookie minicamp hit differently. Like, really differently. Something shifted. This isn't a rumor, this isn't a mock draft fantasy, this is actually happening, right now, in real life. And the more I watch this kid, the more I feel it in my gut. We are standing at the very beginning of something the Raiders organization hasn't sniffed in a long, long time. So let's dig into everything that came out of rookie minicamp, because trust me, there's a lot to unpack. It wasn't just about the visual of Mendoza in a Raiders jersey, as jaw-dropping as that was. There were genuine football moments, real character-revealing moments, and a handful of other storylines bubbling up from this rookie class that have me buzzing with excitement about where this team is headed. Let's kick things off with Mendoza, because honestly, everything begins and ends with him right now. The media got access on day 2 of minicamp, and the clips started flooding in almost immediately. Now look, I hear you. I know it's early days. I know these are non-contact drills with zero pass rush and no live defense breathing down his neck. I know better than to overanalyze minicamp footage from May like it's the Super Bowl, but I'm also not going to stand here and pretend I didn't see what I saw. The guy looked sharp. Ball placement was on point. His throws were crisp and confident, even while working through timing routes and basic concepts, without any real pressure involved. You could clearly spot the accuracy and quick decision-making that made everybody fall head over heels for his game back at Indiana. There's a natural fluidity to the way he moves and processes everything, a smoothness that translates immediately, even at this embryonic stage of his pro career. But here's the part that impressed me even more than anything he did between the white lines. Mendoza has been putting in extra work on under-center snaps at the team hotel after practice. We're talking 25 to 50 repetitions every single night, grinding away at the mechanics and timing of something that was flagged early as a development area coming out of college. He brought it up himself at his press conference, openly admitted he still has a road to travel on that front, praised the centers for being phenomenal to work with, and made it crystal clear he's attacking it every day, whether the cameras are rolling or not. That detail, right there, matters more than just about anything else I can share with you about Fernando Mendoza at this point. Because the under-center issue isn't about talent, it's about repetition, muscle memory, and the kind of obsessive daily commitment that slowly rewires how your body moves. And the fact that he's voluntarily doing 50 extra snaps in a hotel corridor after a full practice day, as the #1 overall pick, when most rookies are just trying to keep their heads above water during the install period, that tells you everything about who this person is, beneath the highlights and the smile. He also addressed something that I think genuinely deserves a moment of real recognition. When reporters asked him about potentially attending the White House visit with the Indiana National Championship team during the OTA period, Mendoza basically said he wouldn't feel right skipping practice as a rookie. He talked about being at the bottom of the pecking order, about wanting to serve his teammates, and about how disappearing for a personal event wouldn't exactly accomplish that goal. Now, whether that visit would have actually conflicted with the schedule is almost beside the point. The mindset behind that answer is what matters. He walked into this building as the first overall pick and immediately adopted the mentality of a guy who still has something to prove every time he laces up. No entitlement, no celebrity behavior, just a dude who wants to put his head down and work. I've been saying since draft night that Fernando Mendoza is the type of quarterback who makes the culture around him better simply by walking in the room and being himself. That's not hype, that's a character profile that's been rock solid from his days at Indiana all the way through these first few sessions in Vegas. The self-awareness, the humility, the flat-out refusal to cut corners. That is what a true franchise quarterback looks like when the cameras aren't pointed at him. Now we just need the on-field performance to match the off-field reputation, and everything we've seen so far strongly suggests it will. Now let's talk about German McCoy, because his presence at minicamp alone is genuinely newsworthy. He didn't suit up on day 1, came out in a limited capacity on day 2, and was actually spotted fielding punts during drills. And I don't want to go overboard here, but I also refuse to downplay it, because if McCoy's knee situation were anywhere near as serious as some of those medical reports made it sound, he's not out there going through return specialist drills. You simply don't put a player with a genuinely fragile knee through that kind of activity unless there's real, grounded confidence in where he's at physically. The Raiders clearly have a comfortable level of trust in his current health status, and that is genuinely encouraging. The surgery he eventually needs is still on the table. That hasn't changed, but the timing of it appears to be flexible. And if the coaching staff is comfortable enough to let him participate in minicamp activities, even in a limited role, then there's a real conversation to be had about whether McCoy is out on that field in some capacity this season. And if he is, if that corner is healthy and active, we've talked at length about what a player like that does to the secondary. A top cornerback prospect from his draft class who dropped to the 4th round purely because of medical concerns. If those concerns turn out to be less severe than feared, the Raiders may have quietly landed a starter-caliber corner for pocket change. That's the kind of value that doesn't just help a season, it can define one. Crawford was pulled from day 2 of practice, but that turned out to be nothing more than a sensible precaution. Heavy workload on Friday, coaching staff being smart about managing reps. He spoke at the podium afterwards, and what he said gave me a genuinely good feeling. When asked what he brings to the Raiders' defense, he talked about being a violent player, learning everything he can from the veterans in front of him, taking notes, and attacking every single rep. That combination of raw physicality and genuine humility packed into one answer is honestly exactly what you want to hear from a developmental edge rusher. He's not strutting in, thinking he already knows it all. He's arriving ready to absorb every piece of knowledge Rob Leonard is willing to pour into him, while still bringing that disruptive, explosive energy to every single drill. Crawford's tape speaks for itself. The pass rush tools are there. The movement for a player his size is frankly rare. The development phase, making those moves consistently effective at the pro level, that's the project ahead of him, and it's a project Leonard is perfectly positioned to oversee. What counts most right now is that Crawford is showing up mentally ready to be coached. Everything else builds on top of that foundation. Traden Stokes was out there working through drills and looking completely at ease in the environment. No deer-in-the-headlights moment, just a guy going to work. Mike Washington ran through some sequences, and the early word on him is exactly what you'd hope for: fluid, quick, and explosive. When a running back with genuine home run speed looks natural moving through fundamental drills, it tells you something important. The athleticism isn't papering over technical holes, it's just who he is. That's a different kind of player. The other name worth flagging is Ray McCoy, the veteran wide receiver from Atlanta who was spotted working out alongside the rookies. The receiver room is genuinely crowded right now, and earning a spot on that roster is going to demand either special teams excellence or a very specific skill set that makes you impossible to cut. As a return specialist, McCoy has absolutely done it at a high level in this league before. Whether there's ultimately a roster spot for him depends on how the competition unfolds, but the Raiders clearly saw something worth taking a longer look at. Here's what I really want you to walk away with from all of this minicamp coverage. Beyond the individual players, beyond the specific drills and reps and press conference quotes, there is an energy coming out of this building right now that feels fundamentally different from anything we've experienced in years. Kubiak is out there, Mendoza is out there, the rookies are grinding. The standard has been set. No status, no shortcuts, no free passes until they're earned. And even the first overall pick is treating every single day like an audition. Thank you guys. See you next video.